Hello and welcome to another episode of Erk Pod. I am Eric Brook and hi! Today we're going to have a couple of interesting discussions here, give you a little bit of a channel update and who I am, and also we'll have a look at one of the many reasons why I'm not going to be on Facebook Marketplace to sell anything anytime soon. I was thinking overnight about a discussion that I had online with someone a few years ago, and also another couple of conversations that I've had recently with different people who know me from different stages of my life and for different things. And for anyone who doesn't know me, you may be wondering, why did I use the phrase Erk Pod? Who's this Eric Brook guy? Who's this Erk guy? And really, it's all the same guy. It's all me. Anywho, the origin of the Erk nickname goes back to when I was 10 years old. I was sick of calling my Uncle Keith, or my uncle, I was sick of calling him Uncle every time I wanted to get his attention or whatever. And we had a really good relationship, that sort of thing. And so just one day, out of the blue, I said something like, "Oh, how you going, Unc?" Short for uncle. And he goes, "Yeah, I'm good, Erk." A different way of Eric. And it's funny because you have Eric, E-R-I-C, and that became Erk as a nickname, E-R-K. Then you get people in other countries called Eric that are spelled E-R-I-K. And then a few years after that, I think it was, television character Steve Urkel, which was spelled U-R-K-E-L. But for many years, it was more of a family sort of a name. Sometimes, if they thought I was being a jerk, I'd be nicknamed Erk the Jerk, that sort of thing. But it mainly stood, and I'd used it for many of my projects over the years. When I first came onto the internet, though, in 1998, there was a lot different attitude to online personas and online security compared to now. Not even sure if MySpace was a thing at that stage, maybe, but things like Facebook, Instagram, and TikTok and YouTube definitely weren't. Although, having said that, the other day, as I'm recording this, YouTube just celebrated its 20th birthday. So, happy 20th birthday to YouTube. Speaking of that, by the time you're hearing this, hopefully I have this on podcasts as well. I initially thought that because I was recording this as a video podcast and then going ahead and telling YouTube that yes, it's also a podcast, that means that I have to do nothing else. I've called it a podcast. It will go out like any other podcast would to your podcatcher of choice, whether you use Spotify, Apple Music, or anything else. My podcatcher of choice is Pocket Cast and has been for some years. Hopefully by the time you're listening to this, everything would have worked out, because I did discover that the only place that a audio podcast goes from YouTube is to YouTube Music. And that's the only place it goes. It doesn't go to Spotify. It doesn't go to Apple Podcasts. It doesn't go to your podcatcher of choice. But if you're listening to this on your podcatcher of choice, well, things obviously worked. So I grew up. Some people called me Erk, some people didn't. Then I got online, and that was part of my online identity if I was in a chat group, for instance, and chat groups were really big, especially with Yahoo. My first Yahoo email address was erkemail@yahoo.com, and so Erk email became my username for quite some time until I discovered podcasting, and then my username, as it is now in a few places, is Erk Pod. Erk because me, Pod because, I stuffed that up, but let's try that again, not editing that. Erk is Erk, Pod is Pod, and there ends your 3-week extensive course on how to know who I am. Simpsons reference for the win. So that became Erk Pod. But when it came down to ordering something, for instance, a domain name, I wasn't going to put Erk Pod because that didn't exist then. I wasn't going to put Erk email as my registrar or my client details because you needed a name, an actual name. I wasn't going to put my real name because that was another piece of advice that they were giving out at the time. Don't put your real name on anything on the internet, and I mean anything. Now, of course, you don't think anything of it now because there's so much that you do online, and there's so much that if you're doing online, you have to use your real name, or as some people call it, and I know my friend Sheepy's one of them, who calls it their wallet name. I think I know what Sheepy's wallet name is. Not many people do. I don't use it because that's not the sort of relationship we have. But obviously there has to be times where I have to use my wallet name. Doing this channel, doing hockey commentary, doing YouTube, social media aren't times that I have to use my wallet name, so I don't. So I use Eric Brook. Obviously there are times I have to use my wallet name. For instance, when I'm at work, I have to use my wallet name. Dealing with bureaucracy, of course, you have to use your wallet name, etc., etc. I think you know where I'm going with that one. I know when I was growing up, and it's not the most complicated surname in the world, but it's long. And if you're doing something that's quote unquote disposable, for instance, Mum and I would order Chinese food, succulent Chinese food, and get it delivered to the house. And so you'd have to give, or we'll go and pick it up, so you'd have to give your name. So we just called ourselves Brooke, because that's a lot easier than the surname, or you didn't necessarily use your first name in that situation. Same too, and a lot of people didn't have mobile phones back then, so it wasn't a case of, what's your mobile number, as so often is the case now. And so I remember a friend of mine asked me the other day, why don't I, and I'll use the term that Sheepy used, not the term that he used, why don't you use your wallet name? Or, because I had to send him something the other day that had my wallet name on it. I knew that I was going to do that, and I sent the message on to say, I have to send you this information that I have to send you. So, of course, he knew it was me. And we've known each other long enough that we may or may not have even had the wallet name conversation, but it was an interesting conversation. It was an interesting conversation nonetheless. And then I was thinking about this person that I'd had an online interaction with several years ago. And her theory was that you can be, and you should be, the same person 24/7. And to me, at least, I find that impossible. And not because of all the different projects that I do and, personal and professional security and that sort of thing. But there's no way that you can have the same personality 24/7, and be exactly the same. For instance, if I'm at work driving a train, I am in train driver mode. I'm not in YouTube producer mode. I'm not in hockey commentary mode. I'm not in friend mode or boyfriend mode. Gee, I don't get to use boyfriend mode very often, and that was strange a couple of years ago. But all these different facets of your personality, you don't obviously want to swing wildly between your different parts of your personality, which is different from having multiple personalities, which is something totally out of the scope of what I'm talking about. But yet you do have different ways that you interact with different people depending on the environment that you're in. And so that's what I was thinking about, and gives you a little bit more of an introduction, especially if somehow you found me and you don't know who I am, which is possible. So I'm expecting to find some randos that I've never heard of before, or have never heard of me before. You know, that's the thing with things like YouTube. I'm expecting people who already know me, possibly from work, possibly from hockey, and possibly with my previous projects, including Erk Pod, Channel Erk Podcast, etc. So that's how it all ties in. What can you expect? And quite honestly, at the moment, I don't know what to expect. For instance, I knew that I was going to have this part of the conversation now on this episode. I knew, of course, that I had to have the first episode, which is already up, saying, you know, this is who I am, this is where I've been, this is what's going to happen, and tried some things. There have been some episodes that have been recorded that won't be released just yet, because at the time of recording, I haven't edited them. And unlike when I was doing Erk Pod before, or unlike some of my simulated Erk content, where I do give each episode an episode number, I won't be giving even an episode number to any of these episodes. Rather, I'm going to do something like what's at the top of screen, and I'm still getting used to that. Who I am and why Facebook Marketplace isn't for me. But in the meantime, I have something to tell you about what is me. And that is the NTL Sticker Collective shirt of the episode. Wearing a new shirt on the screen. As you can see, you can't quite see the writing that I'm wearing on my shirt. I'm a bit too close to camera, but I haven't got a lot of room either. I'm in a standard bedroom that's got 3 separate desks in it, a bar fridge. Yes, I have a bar fridge. I've become that guy since I've moved here. Very, very handy to have a bar fridge. I've got a two-drawer filing cabinet. I've got a wardrobe, which I've got things like Democracy Manifest t-shirts in, and I've got a whiteboard, because I like writing things down on a whiteboard. I will be doing an episode, and I will be doing a comedy skit in relation to the Succulent Chinese Meal guy, the Democracy Manifest guy. You may be aware of it. I do design these t-shirts like the one that I'm wearing and the ones that are on screen now, to get your hands off my Succulent Chinese Meal. And a little bit of an interesting one about this, because of using templates. The photo's there, the text is there, and then the hands are there from totally different template. And the way that the hands look, it looks like that it's reaching into the screen and it's grabbing the police officer and old mate. So there's a range of t-shirts, as you'll get to see, or if you go to the website ntlstickercollective.com.au/democracy manifest, or scan the QR code, use discount code ERKPOD10 for 10% off any purchase from the collection. So what I'm going to move on to now is a very, very funny situation that I saw yeah, it is a situation. It's a skit. It's a routine. Now, you couldn't do this. You just couldn't write this and just make it up and do all the work that we'll see. This is comedian Lou Wall. She's at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival from 2025. This is actually the first thing that I've seen from the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. I love Melbourne. I love the comedy scene down there. I went to a few shows. I think it was last time or the time before I was down there, but it wasn't during the comedy festival. There's so much on during the International Comedy Festival in Melbourne, the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. You could go and see so many comedians there, but if you've got limited coin, limited time, not in Melbourne, now's a really good time for things to come out about punchlines that happened or jokes that happened or situations that happened. Before, how I found Lou Wall, I was in bed scrolling Facebook before I got out of bed this morning. And I was just scrolling around, looking at videos, catching up on my social media from overnight because I've got a day off today. So I thought, okay, let's have a look at some videos. Then this video came up, and we'll talk about it a little bit after. And this is why, well, one of the many reasons why I don't sell anything on Facebook Marketplace. This is from ABC iView on YouTube. I'll leave a link to the video, and I'll leave a link in show notes also about Lou Wall. This is a great introduction because before this video, I don't know who she is, want to find out more and to see what other work she's done. And that's another conversation that we can have a little bit later on. But here's Lou Wall telling about her crazy Facebook Marketplace experience.
Hello, my name is Lou, and I put my bed frame up for free on Facebook Marketplace. DJ, hit that track. Now, I have turned it into a PowerPoint and also a musical. And because it's being filmed for national TV, I've decided to leave her full name and Facebook profile picture in because I don't give a fuck. Is the bed frame still available? Yes, it is. Gay emoji. Can I please negotiate the price? No. What? It's free. You're on a hard bargain, Lucia, but that's just not the way Marketplace working. I'm like, okay, how about half price just for you, Eileen? How much now? Still free. Dance, dance, dance. You are the best. Party, party. Here's my address. Wow, that's a long, long way from my place now. How about a small discount? I said, Eileen, I can't be clear. It's free to pick up. Could you drive it to me, please? What the fuck? No, please, no, please, no, please, no, please. I don't own a car. Why didn't you say so? I can drive. See you tomorrow at 5. Very, very early the next morning, I received this message from Eileen. Lucia, I'm out the front. Sent at 5 a.m. I said, see you at 5. Please come out and let me in. I should have known not to trust you. Axe, pickaxe, fire. Should have known you didn't care. Vomit, fire. I show up on time. Are you dead? Please. Where is bed? I was like, fuck finding Coney, it's where is bed? How was I supposed to know that what you meant was 5 a.m? Knock, knock, knock. Let me in. No, it's not an ideal time for you to get the bed frame. What time then? I'm like, could you come back at 8? But I'm outside, yeah, my housemates are sleeping. Should I just knock? This is getting creepy. 8 a.m, that's my final offer. What if I gave you $200? I'm like, sure, no way, your bed is worth shit. You won't get that out of me. I'm like, you don't have to collect it. Okay, see you at 8. I go back to sleep, I wake up at 8. Is she there? No fucking way. 12 hours later, this. Let's see ya. I'm here again. It's 8 p.m. Yes, where is the bed? Is the concept of time too hard for you to comprehend? You're 12 hours late. I can't get you the bed. I'm at work right now. Like I'm not even home, but I came all the way back for it. Yup. No. Please. Heartbreak. Pumpkin emoji. Sorry. Typo. Seriously, please. Where the bed? Eileen, that's the lady's back. What, can you help her get the bed? Sure, okay. Housemate's home. Knock on the door. Ask for Tim. 402, 403. Knock, knock, knock. 403. Knock, knock, knock. Anyone in? Angry dolphin pile of shit. If you're gonna be a shit, you'll never get the bed. But I really want it and I'm already there. The bed's not packed up. This is not what I expected. I'm taking off the bedding and the pillow and the mattress. What, there is no bedding, just Dr. Tim. He'll show you what to take. Is this free? Picture of pillow. That's not my pillow. Taking pillow. Where'd you get the pillow? What even is the pillow? Where the fuck are you? Is Eileen there? No. Shit. Fuck. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. Oh my god. It's perfect. It's exactly what I want. Bigger than I thought. And free bedding. Thank you. 5 stars. Miss call, miss call, miss call, miss call, miss call, miss call, miss call. Cannot talk driving with Ben. Eileen, can you please pick up? Gay, I don't think you took my bed. Tim said you never picked it up. Thank you for the bed, Lucia. Miss call. Eileen, fuck, a message from my neighbour in our apartment complex. We have been robbed. Our bed was taken. Lock your doors! Eileen, you stole my neighbour's bed. My bed's still here. You took the wrong bed from the wrong house. I did no such thing. Then she blocks me. Eileen, please. Where is bed?
And this is why you don't do anything on Facebook Marketplace. I've never sold anything on Facebook Marketplace. I've had a look, but I've never actually gone to an effort of, how much is this worth or whatever. A lot of the stuff I like to buy new anyway, but let's talk about it because there's certainly a lot that comes up. I just wanted to play the whole thing in full first, and then we'll discuss it.
Hello, my name is Lou, and I put my bed frame up for free on Facebook Marketplace.
No, she said free.
DJ, hit that track.
So the ad would have said
now
free.
I have turned it into a PowerPoint and also a musical. And because it's being filmed for national TV, I've decided to leave her full name and Facebook profile picture in because I don't give a fuck. Is the bed frame still available? Yes, it is. Gay emoji.
Just as an aside, I didn't know that was a gay emoji. Maybe it is, maybe it isn't. Maybe that's what some people use it for. Maybe that's what Lou uses it for. Don't know if that's what Eileen uses it for. But that was just a side note. I didn't know. But then again, I'm not the target demographic for that, or a lot of emojis. I do use some emojis, but not that one in that context.
Can I please negotiate the price? No. What? It's free.
So it would have said on the ad, it's free. And can we negotiate the price? No, it's free. So Eileen hasn't got that concept.
You're on a hard bargain, Lucia, but that's just not the way marketplace working.
Oh, what a genius. So Eileen, the one in white, is saying that this isn't how Facebook Marketplace works, but she is the one who is trying to haggle someone when they're giving something away for free. Okie dokie.
I'm like, okay, how about half price just for you, Eileen? How much now? Still free.
So Eileen hasn't figured out that half of 0 is still 0. So yeah, I was stunned, but of course I had no idea what was coming up as the dance emojis come up.
Dance, 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 you are the best. Party, party, here's my address.
So the pig emoji was obviously next to the celebration emoji. Sometimes it's like that. You press an emoji once and then your finger's slightly off, you press the wrong one, and she's probably that excited that she just, I'm not going to change that before I press enter.
Well, that's a long, long way from my place now. How about a small discount?
So Lou, who is giving away the bed frame for free, has said, here's my address, come and pick it up. And that's standard for Facebook Marketplace. It's not a delivery service. Oh, it's a long way away. How about a small discount? Well, even if the price was, there was a price on it, you wouldn't be giving someone a small discount or any discount because they have a long way to go. They initiated the conversation by saying, hey, I am interested in your bed frame. Is it still available? And, this is the person who, after all, says that she knows how Facebook Marketplace works. Clearly not. How about a small discount because I live far away from you? Needless to say that the answer to that question was no.
I said, Eileen, I can't be clearer. It's free to pick up.
Now, if she does this skit again, and I reckon she should, she's already had media coverage as a result of this. The way I'd be doing it, although it is difficult with a handheld microphone, the old classic, because you've got all the claps in the emoji. Eileen, I can't be clearer. It's free to pick up. I don't know if people actually do that, but that's what they're sort of thinking when they do it. And then Elaine asks, could you drive it to me? So not only has she started the conversation, but she wants Lou to drive over to her place and deliver the bed frame for free.
You drive it to me, please, what the fuck? No, please, no, please, no, please, no, please. I don't own a car. Why didn't you say so?
Well, apart from anything else, the repeated, can you deliver it to me? Please, no, please, no, please, no, please, no. There's probably a couple of reasons why you're saying no. Apart from the fact that, it's up to the person buying to go over there to pick up the item. Just because and then they go over there and they could say, well, this isn't for me, etc., and pull out. But there's obviously a reason why Lou has continually said no, 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 no. Not everybody can deliver a bed frame. And of course, if you don't have a car, as we've just found out, you're definitely not going to be able to deliver a bed frame, and you shouldn't be expected to organise a delivery. Bed frames aren't that expensive if you just want a basic bed frame. You can go down to Fantastic Furniture or wherever good beds are sold, hashtag not sponsored, pay money for a bed, and if you can't take it home with you, a lot of the time they're just in a box anyway and you assemble it, If you can't take it home with you, you can pay money and you can get it delivered. So, why didn't you say you couldn't deliver it? Well, I think the repeated no's was that.
I can drive. See you tomorrow at 5.
Now, 5. See you at 5. Who in their right mind, apart from Eileen, would be thinking at this point 5 a.m.? You know, even something like 7 a.m., 8 a.m. still might be a bit early. But 5? So I don't know the distance involved between the two people. Obviously you don't know who's going where afterwards or whatever, but expecting to be at somebody's house at 5 a.m. to pick up a bed frame, which is probably still assembled at this point. Even if it wasn't assembled, even if it was fully in a box ready to go, you're not going over to someone's house at 5 a.m. and picking it up. But Eileen obviously thought so.
Very, very early the next morning, I received this message from Eileen. Lucia, I'm out the front. Sent at 5 a.m. I said, see you at 5. Please come out and let me in. I should have known not to trust you. Axe, pickaxe, fire. Should have known you didn't care. Vomit, fire. I show up on time. Are you dead? Please. Where is bed?
And that should be the title. Any time that she uses this from now on, and she absolutely should. That should be the name of the skit. Where is bed? So she's actually very lucky that Lou's even awake and responding to these messages at 5 a.m. Apart from being a comedian, I don't know anything about Lou, and what she may or may not do as a quote unquote real job, because there's not a lot of comedians that have necessarily being a full-time comic. So the fact that she's even got a response at 5 a.m. is amazing. And of course, 5 a.m. It's not a great time to be moving furniture, regardless of the state that it's in. If it was me, what I've been doing of late especially, I'm a shift worker. I primarily work early morning shifts now, so the start times are anywhere between midnight and 6 a.m. So as you can imagine, I'm getting some rather early start times and going to bed rather early. So as soon as I've made that decision to go to bed, because you still get emails and everything that come in regardless, phone goes into airplane mode because I am still listening to music, podcasts, etc., YouTube while I'm sleeping, so I need Wi-Fi. But I also have the focus on the iPhone I have to set to sleep. So if, for instance, this situation was to happen to me, apart from the fact that I might not actually be here at 5 a.m. because I may be working, if it was this morning, for instance, I would have been fast asleep. I wouldn't have been reading these messages. I probably wouldn't have read these messages until I started doing stuff at 7, 8 a.m. So would she have been knocking at the door in that situation? So it was lucky that she got any sort of response at all.
I was like, fuck Finding Coney, it's where is bed? How was I supposed to know that what you meant was 5 a.m. Knock, knock, knock. Let me in. No, it's not an ideal time for you to get the bed frame. What time then? I'm like, could you come back at 8? But I'm...
So, if you're over at somebody's house at 5 a.m, could you come back at 8? And who knows what Eileen's thinking because of the previous conversations. But if you're coming over to someone's house at 5 a.m, you're picking up something that they're giving you for free. 8 a.m's not a bad compromise, unless, of course, you're going to work or whatever. But 8 a.m's not that bad considering.
Outside, yeah, my housemates are sleeping. Should I just knock? This is getting creepy. 8 a.m, that's my final offer. What if I gave you $200?
So 8 a.m, quite reasonable, and it's there in text this time, 8 a.m. So the boundary's been set quite clearly. Come back at 8 a.m. What if I gave you $200? Was the next thing. What if I gave you $200 to what now? To what? Open the door now? To disturb my whole household? To... Obviously, I'm presuming it's a spare bedroom. To... Or set up somewhere different than a bedroom. Who knows? Even if it was... Even if it was me just living here by myself, that I do, and I told someone to, or someone told me that they'll see me at 5, as I said, most normal people would think 5 p.m, and then you rock up at 5 a.m, and then you have a discussion with me via Messenger, and then all of a sudden you offer to throw me $200. In that situation, I don't think I'd even open the door. I'm like, no. 5 a.m, it's ridiculous.
I'm like, sure, lol, no way, your bed is worth shit. You won't get that out of me. I'm like, you don't have to collect it. Okay, see you at 8. I go back to sleep, I wake up at 8. Is she there? No fucking way. 12 hours later, this. Let's see, I'm here again. It's 8 p.m, yes, where is the bed? Is the concept of time too hard for you to comprehend?
Yes, obviously. The first message did say 8, not 8 a.m. or 8 p.m. The second message clearly said 8 a.m. Then again, of course, it doesn't matter what sort of situation it is. You have people who, for various reasons, can't read, can't comprehend, or they read into things what they want to read into things. So, old mate said, see you at 8, and then she turns up at 8 p.m, and so she wonders, where is bed? Or this time she uses the word the too. Yes, where is the bed? And because we've watched it, we already know where the bed is, and...
You're 12 hours late. I can't get you the bed. I'm at work right now. Like, I'm not even home, but I came all the way back for it, yup. No.
So, 8 p.m, Lou said she's working. So if someone's working at 8 p.m, end of the shift, start of the shift, middle of the shift, doesn't matter. Not standard office hours. And then you get some person, almost said the word lunatic, you get some person coming over at 5 a.m. to pick up a bed when who knows how long she'd been asleep for, and woken up for 5 a.m. somebody at your door. But I came all the way back for it. Yeah, but I'm not here, I'm at work.
Oh, please, heartbreak, pumpkin emoji, sorry, typo, seriously, please. Where the bed? Eileen, that's the lady's back. What, can you help her get the bed? Sure, okay. Housemate's home, knock on the door, ask for Tim.
So, just in case you didn't get that, what about a separate message from Lou to her housemate saying, the lady's here to pick up the bed. Are you able to help her? And then there's some confusion about which unit number.
403. Knock, knock, knock. 403. Knock, knock, knock. Anyone in? Angry dolphin pile of shit. If you're going to be a shit, you'll never get the bed. But I really want it and I'm already there. The bed's not packed up. This is not what I expected. I'm taking off the bedding and the pillow and the mattress. What, there is no...
So it's clear to us because we've seen it already, and it's clear to Lou because she was the one in the situation. The initial thing was for a bed frame. Now, if you're advertising a bed frame, and presumably there's a photo on the ad, I haven't seen the actual ad. Knock, knock, knock on the door, nobody's there. Yeah, no one's there, and then she's got into the house somehow, so the door, unfortunately, obviously not locked, and Eileen's mentioning and showing pillows and mattresses and sheets. It's a bed frame. You shouldn't be getting the mattress and the sheets and the pillow, especially because, as we found out and as we know now, Eileen's actually in the wrong unit, in the wrong apartment.
Betting just Dr. Tim, he'll show you to take. Is this free? Picture of pillow, that's not my pillow. Taking pillow, where'd you get the pillow? What even is the pillow? Where the fuck are you? Is Eileen there? No, shit, fuck, oh my god, oh my god, oh my god, oh my...
So that's the messages between Lou and the housemate, saying, have you seen this lady? I think Lou's just clicked on that Eileen's in the wrong unit. She's next door, stealing their bed.
It's perfect. It's exactly what I want. Bigger than I thought and free.
Hang on a minute. Exactly what I wanted? You were after a bed frame.
Thank you, 5 stars. Miss call, miss call, miss call, miss call, miss call, miss call, miss call. Cannot talk driving with Ben. Eileen, can you please pick up? Gay, I don't think you took my bed. Tim said you never picked it up. Thank you for the bed, Lucia. Miss call. Eileen, fuck, a message from my neighbour in our apartment complex. We have been robbed. Our bed was taken. Lock your doors! Eileen, you stole my neighbour's bed. My bed's still here. You took the wrong bed from the wrong house. I did no such thing. Then she blocks me. Eileen, please. Where is bed?
So where is bed indeed? Very, very crazy stuff. I'm going to bring you part of an interview which may give us some more clues, because by now I'm intrigued. I want to find out more. Certainly very different from the Erk Pod days where I'd have to switch from one website to the other and then just read it, but I'll be back. So The Project, a current affairs show on Channel 10 here in Australia. Let's actually meet Lou Hall and find out why Facebook Marketplace is the worst. I'll be very interested to find out more about this story and possibly more about Lou. I haven't watched the rest of this report. They only showed a segment of the first half of the video that I've just shown. So let's get into it.
Please welcome Lou Hall!
There she is.
Now, this will not be news to the nearly 50 million people who have watched this, but that is just the tip of this iceberg. It escalates in an extraordinary way. What kind of reaction have you had to this going as huge as it's had?
It's actually been crazy. The thing that's been craziest is that I've been offered a lot of free beds. And I'm like, but the whole point of the thing is that the bed is still available. Like, I've got many beds now.
Yeah. So you haven't accepted the extra beds and maybe start a bed store?
I should. Oh.
Okay. Yeah.
That's some big brain stuff.
But given how much trouble we're having shifting one, I don't know if you want to take on...
Yeah,
well, you could use a different platform, because I think Facebook Marketplace it's a bin fire. And I think that's why this bit has connected with so many people, because everyone has similar experiences. Why are we all still on there?
Well, we're on there because, it's funny. I think that's the only reason. Like, you meet the craziest people on, like, the fringes of society. They all exist on Facebook Marketplace.
Yeah.
Like, oh my goodness, some of the comments of, like, people being like, oh my God, I sold this, and it's like crazy. I actually did read this beautiful one though, which kind of like surprised me. This guy was like, I always put it up for a really low price, and then someone who can only afford that comes, and then he gives it to them for free. And I was like, that's so lovely. Like taking out the middleman. But other than that, it's a hellscape.
And it's 49 million views over 4 days. It's incredible. People must be bombarding you with their own horror stories. What's the worst or best that you've heard?
The best, there's some truly horrific ones, just like stuff being stolen left, right and centre. But one I found that really tickled me was this woman who was trying to sell a treadmill, and the buyer was like, it's been my dream to own a treadmill. My whole life, all I've wanted is a treadmill. Get this like beautiful monologue, like loads of emojis. And then when the person got there, she was like, that's not the treadmill for me. And turned it down straight up. I was like, that's pretty.
Some people have some strange things that they dream about, and they say, oh, this has been my lifelong dream to own a treadmill. You know, maybe you are in the age group now that you've only known of treadmills your whole life, because I know I certainly haven't, but there's some interesting experiences when it comes down to people's expectations. Maybe things may have worked out differently if there was actually a price on this bed. Why am I having so much trouble with the word bed frame? I'm awake, honestly.
You build it up your whole life.
Yeah, it's your dream. You're not going to settle for second best treadmill. Yeah. That's crazy.
Like a red carpet, but on a treadmill.
Yeah. Well, what I've learnt from this and from your show is that I can spend a whole lot less time worrying about how I craft my messages on Facebook Marketplace. I can just punch out whatever is front of mind, and that will do.
Absolutely.
But congratulations are also in order for you, Lou. You've been nominated, your show today, for the best show at the Melbourne Comedy Festival. When you came on here tonight, the comedians on the panel were like, your show is fantastic, so well done. Is it going to inspire you to start to dig into some other corners of the internet that might be overlooked?
I have dug into many corners of the internet. And I always have a shovel, and I will keep digging until the day I die, because internet comedy is it's a wealth. There are so many crazy people on the internet, and I will never stop finding them.
Your show, it's called Breaking the Fifth Wall. Now, I know about Breaking the Fourth Wall. We do it all the time on the show. What's the fifth wall?
The fifth wall, I mean, it's a kind of concept that I kind of just like made up because my name is Wall. I think it's probably, like, I just assume, right, in stand-up comedy, there's like a fifth wall, because we break we talk to hecklers, like, or I bully hecklers, and so I think the fifth wall is actually just like what comedians exaggerate and like little tricks we do. And so in my show, I'm just like breaking that down and showing everyone.
By the way,
inside the depths.
So I want to see this show now. I absolutely want to see this show now. And the whole using part of your name to title your show, very good reason. Breaking the fifth wall with her name Wall. She's probably had a lot of wall jokes aimed at her in her direction over the years, but I want to see this show now. Breaking the Fifth Wall. It reminds me of comedian Lizzie Who, and the amount of Who type puns spelt HOO. She's always got some sort of Who pun in her show titles, and Lou Wall's obviously doing the same thing. So I want to see this show now. But the funny thing is, if it wasn't for me scrolling around Facebook this morning, I might have seen it at some other time. As I mentioned earlier, I wasn't at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival. And the amount of plays that has had, 49, 50 million, it's probably more than that now. I may have stumbled across it on YouTube eventually. Maybe Facebook at another stage, but I want to go and see this show now. And this is an interesting thing about copyright and all that sort of stuff that we might as well have after this interview, about spreading the word about things like a podcast or your comedy act or things like that.
I'm sure this is not the point of the bit, but I left it really wanting to meet Eileen. Can we? I mean, you must have a contact number.
Yeah.
Can we catch up with Eileen somehow?
I can hook you up. Maybe I should put like a contact number and a QR code at the end of my show.
Yes!
We're there.
There's still time in the festival. Well, Lou's show, Breaking the Fifth Wall, has a few more nights at the Melbourne Comedy Festival. Then it heads to Perth, to Brisbane. Ticket details are on our website. I imagine they are going to go very far.
And it was also interesting to note there, I'll just take it back a little bit so I can have Lou on screen here. Oops. So, interesting that the show's been nominated as the show of the festival. That's not easy. There's lots of people who have got big followings. They're well known to people who aren't comedy fans even. You know, some of them have probably got radio shows, who knows, but to be nominated as a show of the festival. And I don't know a lot about Lou, and I'll do some looking, but I'm certainly interested. And the whole point of, you know, meeting Eileen, it'd be interesting actually to find out. But very, very interesting story in relation to things like copyright online and that sort of stuff. We're doing a reaction video, and what I'm not doing is just putting this up as my own video and saying, or not even saying, but doing what some people do and just uploading someone else's content without adding anything to it. For instance, they'll put up there's one example that I'm thinking of, the comedy group Yeah Mad, that's on YouTube. You will go to YouTube, for instance, and you can find the Yeah Mad channel and the Yeah Mad Shorts channel, and that's them putting up their content. And then you will see other people uploading the exact same content under their name, and there's no commentary about it, there's no reaction about it, we don't know who these people are, but they're just going on the reputation of Yeah Mad and the people that are on the thumbnail or whatever to get a click. And if you're not seriously watching the screen to go, oh, okay, it suggested a Yeah Mad video, this is from Yeah Mad, I'll click and give them the view. What the other people are relying on is you seeing that Yeah Mad clip on YouTube, and I know I've done it just because I've seen the clip and I wanted to watch it. And it's not Yeah Mad, it's someone else. They haven't done anything to the content. They haven't even altered the content from start to finish, but it's just up there with their name, and they're hoping to get the clicks because clicks can lead to monetization and that sort of thing without doing absolutely nothing to. All they're basically doing is downloading and then uploading, and then that's pretty much basically it, and taking views off the original content creator. Whereas something like a reaction video that I'm doing now, I've found something that's interested me, and I'm giving my opinions about it. Yes, there's copyrighted content in there, but this comes under, you know, what the basic premise around the world, and it does vary around the world, fair use. Now, when I was doing Erk Pod originally, it was an audio podcast, so there would be stuff that I'd talk about. You'd be able to go to a newspaper's website, for instance. You know, Facebook was only sort of coming into vogue for me when the podcast started in 2007. But I was primarily and only audio. But I'd always leave a link to the article or whatever, and there will be links to what we've seen here. And so, to me, this is fair game, because this is talking about and adding context to and adding opinion about what has happened, even though it's about a free bed frame that may not be delivered, and may or may not be now the wrong bed's been stolen. But what it's also done, it's I found out about a comedian that I want to check out further. And the fact that, the videos had something like 49, 50 million views. Actually, I should have a look now. We should do some, while we're here, we should just have a look and see. So, I'm doing it on a separate screen. So, Lou Wall Facebook Marketplace. That's all I have to search on YouTube. Okay, so just having a look at YouTube now. ABC iView, Lou Wall gives the craziest Facebook Marketplace story yet. Melbourne International Comedy Festival, 10 days ago. 116,000 views on ABC iView, which is where I watched it from. Lou Wall 2025 opening night All-Star Super Show, the Melbourne Comedy Festival channel, 40 views 12 days ago. The report that we just saw from the project, 5.4, so 5,400 views 7 days ago. Let me see. And then we're starting to go into other things from other channels. But I just want to find out, while we're here, Lou Wall, comedian. She's got over 21,000 fans on Instagram. Multi-award-winning comedian Lou Wall captivates audiences with PowerPoints, musical comedy, and mentally ill hot takes. Oh, so that's probably her artist representation, which will probably hopefully give us some good information. Just so I've got a bit of an idea of who we're talking about. Creativerep.com.au. Lou Wall is a multi-award-winning comedian, composer, and content creator. Over the last 4 years, her shows have been recognised for their genre-bending, politically savvy comedy and garnered critical acclaim. Lou's solo show, That One Time I Joined the Illuminati, was nominated for 3 Green Room Awards and took out 2 Artist Development Awards at Melbourne Fringe. In 2022, Lou wrote and released their debut comedy album, Bleep Bloop. That was nominated for the Best Original Score at the 2022 Green Room Awards. Their previous musical works include Lusical the Musical, Green Room winner for Best Production, Best Writing, and Outstanding Online Achievement in Cabaret. The Black Comedy Cabaret, A Dingo Ate My Baby, Malthouse Theatre, Melbourne International Comedy Festival. It's Not Me, It's Lou. So she's heavily into using her names as part of the title at Melbourne Fringe. And Lou Wall's Drag Race, Griffin Theatre, Melbourne Fringe. I'm glad I read this because there's a lot here. On television, Lou has appeared in ABC America's Reef Break and ABC Australia's Fisk. Oh, I love Fisk. I haven't caught up. I think I watched the first series, need to watch the second series. Very funny Australian comedy series with Kitty Flanagan. Actually got to see Kitty Flanagan at a show here in Newcastle. She's absolutely hilarious, Kitty Flanagan. In 2023, they worked as a writer and presenter on ABC TV's pop info show WTF AQ, which I've never heard of, but that's fine. And toured their Moosehead awarded Lou Wall versus the Internet in Australia and abroad, smashing international debut at Edinburgh Fringe Festival later that year. So she's been to the Edinburgh Fringe Festival, the Melbourne International Comedy Festival a couple of times, the Melbourne Fringe Festival. Lou's collaboration with Jen Tong and James Gale's Flat Earthers, a musical, A West Side Story meets QAnon queer pop spectacular, and was recently presented by Hayes and Griffin Theatre Companies. The Bisexuals Lament, an hour of deranged PowerPoints, gay derogatory musical comedy, and mentally ill hot takes, was nominated for the most outstanding show at the Melbourne Comedy Festival in 2024 and has smashed its subsequent seasons in Edinburgh and London. And she's just presented, because the Melbourne Comedy Festival has finished by the time we're recording this, their show at the Comedy Festival this year, Breaking the Fifth Wall. So being nominated 2 years in a row for most outstanding show at the Melbourne International Comedy Festival was a fantastic effort. And I'm surprised that I'm only hearing about them now. Chortle UK says, the voice of a generation. The Age in Melbourne says, sublime comedy, believe the hype. And Time Out says, comic timing that splits seconds. Now I know a lot more. Very, very intrigued. We'll have to do some more watching after this episode. All of this came because I was just scrolling on Facebook, saw a video, thought, okay, let's check this out. And this wasn't going to be the only thing of the episode, but it's turned out to be a rather fun thing of the episode. And this is what I believe it wouldn't have had the same effect if I was doing this when Erk Pod was in audio back then, between 2007 and 2014. Because I believe that with this, we really did need to see the performance. And I'll leave a link in the show notes just in case you want to go back and check things out. Anywho, I have been Eric Brook. Thank you very, very much for watching. Don't forget, the NTL Sticker Collective shirt off the t-shirt is the one on screen now. Use discount code ERKPOD10 for 10% off any purchase. ntlstickercollective.com.au/democracy manifest. I will see you next time. Thank you very, very much for watching. See you next time. Bye-bye, ta-ta, and farewell. See you next time, whenever that next time will be. Bye for now.